Hey, what's up? We're in the next part now. I'm busy still telling the story of this guy, and I think I might still be here at midnight. The way in Jafela stories but it's getting to a point. I am literally seeking help, so people can help me come up from underneath the Letlapala. A man that has never known Christ. He's essentially a little bit of a Ted Bundy. He's got a bad rap sheet. He is into domestic violence. I do believe that that's why he went to prison the first time, for beating his wife up. And he is the kind of man that does not respect a woman when she says no. The kind of man that gets what he wants. He's always gotten what he wants by force. Like the kind of man, if she does not agree, like to slap a woman, if she doesn't agree with him. Hence why I kept on getting dreams of this guy slapping me. And God was basically warning me, you're gonna end up a battered wife if you let this man come in. He is stubborn, he is like stuck in his ways, and he is not going to change because he doesn't belong to me, at least not yet. Anyway, so a lot of these nonsenses about this guy came out like only later. Like once he was already completely out of my life, right? And also by happenstance, where I would be listening to a video from somebody and they would give me information, I'd be like, my goodness, this guy tried to swindle and dupe me. Yo, guys, so he still wanted to be all up in my grill. He was too in love with me to let me go. He wanted to manipulate himself into my life and make me finally capitulate or settle for whatever he wanted to do with the us agenda or the us equation, right? And I was just melting underneath it because, like I said, I was lonely, I needed love, and I needed protection and sheltering. And this dude, even though he was struggling financially, whatever money he gave me was ballooned because he's American. Dollar rand exchange, like you don't even need to be in South Africa to know that you get a whole lot more for the dollar when you are here. So I was able to do things like service my vehicle, purchase my lamps this side to light up for my ministry, wada. I also spoke a lot with him about how I want to start a YouTube channel, not a start, but I wanted to grow, I want to monetize, I want to be financially independent. And he was like, yeah, totally, I support you. Hey, guys. Shortly after, like, the whole thing ended, and it was largely because he would not do better, you know what I mean? Because I was still in love with him, even though I wasn't really in love with him, because I told you, I was under some spell or something. Because I had allowed compromise to come into my space. That's why I was a little bit made drowsy by the sorcery. Otherwise, I wouldn't have moved because I'm a Christian. I'm indwelt by the Spirit. Can't get moved, but I was compromised during that season. Anyway, so believers, please, I don't think that it's just sex or it's just porn or it's just lots and lots of sexual content that you're perusing on Netflix. It's just this and that. Like these worms that stealthily, perniciously infiltrate your life come in through those things that you open. You need to consecrate your life, otherwise they will easily steal from you. That's why a lot of women, I believe, in the faith end up married to men that they are unequally yoked to. They allow lust to have a field day with them. They he chipped away at my solid convictions that I had garnered for years in just a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, guys. This relationship didn't even last a month. So you can understand where this guy was in a rush to get out of the US. I don't know what in the world he was running from. But I just know that he was a criminal. And Christ kept on making it clear that, you know what he used? He used the story of El Chapo. If you've seen the story of El Chapo on Netflix, and it's a true story, that El Chapo is presently in prison. He took an 18-year-old girl for a wife at some point, and this girl is now raising their child all by herself because the guy's in prison. He used El Chapo's not fiance but wife as an example to depict me. He was basically telling me the way that this guy makes ends meet, makes money all of a sudden, engada at the same time, is through drug deals. He is into that kind of shady, dodgy business. So if you want to find yourself being a new mom with your husband in prison, with him never being there for your baby, you will marry this guy. You're going to find him. South Africa, which is worse. He's going to get arrested in South Africa because he's going to be here. He's not going to stop doing drug deals. I couldn't understand why he wanted to move to South Africa, how he was going to make money. I asked him and he got agitated. He got angry. How we were going to sustain our lifestyle. How he's going to take care of me. He didn't want to answer me, but he somehow understood that he would be able to feed me. That is a person that is involved in crime. Anyway, when you ignore red flags, guys, at this point it's not even a red flag, but an ocean of blood. The way everything was so red all over the show. But I wanted to run with it anyway. However, the Lord protected me from myself because he saw that I was in too much pain. I was in a lot of sorrow, and all I wanted was comfort, and all I wanted was love. I wanted to be accepted, embraced, because I've been rejected for so long. So that's why God, on my behalf, fought this monster off my chest, okay? He started to manifest, and with all of his manifestations, he then was the one that was super hostile to me, and there was nothing I could do to talk to him. He got angry at me when I would ask him, what are we going to do to continue sustaining our lifestyle. He got angry at me. One time when I asked him about whether he's been for an HIV test, he got angry at me when I wanted to find out why he insisted so vehemently, other than the biblical reason of it being Babylon, to leave the US to come to South Africa, which is presently persecuting me. I just couldn't understand, you know? And the way that he would get angry, I would, you know how sometimes women are. When a guy starts to pass a little bit of a passive-aggressive stunt, it's manipulation, it's a manipulative tactic. How you just keep quiet for the sake of peace. Yeah, I did that. I would do that, but then I would go back into my own little drawing board and be like, no, Mara, this is not right. This is not right. So because I never ever got to a point where I was content with anything, he started to then put psychological attacks on me where he would ghost me. I would write him and he wouldn't respond. At some point I then was like, you know what, whatever, it's over. Broke up with him, and he didn't even like try and like come back or whatever. And I was like, but this dude who was so in love with me, now he's not even trying to fight for me. And that's when I started getting dreams of me groveling at his feet, begging him to come back into my space. Alongside the same time of getting these dreams, the Lord very audibly, by the voice of the Holy Spirit, that I knew for a fact was God, because he has spoken to me in this regard before, and these things have happened, and they've always been admonitions and warnings. The Lord said to me by the Holy Spirit, he tested positive for HIV. When I asked this guy earlier, in our conversations, when was the last time he had sex? He said he had sex last time in January of 2022, on New Year's Eve. Guys, I was like, you've been saved apparently since you were a 15-year-old kid. And you have just had sex, like recently. Dude, I have been celibate chaste for 11 years. What in the world? I then asked him, well, okay, fine. Maybe you've repented. Did you use protection? And he was like, no. Like, he boldly confessed he didn't use a condom. And I was like, my goodness, how in the world do you not use condom, dude? You're gonna get sick. Like, things like those are gonna hurt you. And he was like, no, I took an HIV test shortly afterwards. So I'm fine. And I have repented. I feel guilty. I feel uncomfortable. It's the reason why last time I had sex was not just like last week. It was rather 6 months ago. So, like, don't judge me. I've repented. And I took it, right? Well, turns out that the first time he tested, he was within the window period. He had it was not yet detectable. But after some months progressed, it was detected. And because he met me, he went and tested again, because I told him that either way, you and I are going to have to test together, and I'm going to have to see the results on paper. And so because of that, he wanted to go and get a piece of paper to validate that he is negative. And he went and just fell out casually to the doctor to go and test, and it unfortunately came back positive. And it was because it came back positive that he stopped spawning with me. We stopped like arguing. You know, the amount of arguing that we used to do for a new couple was just out of this world. He was happy, however, to humor a whole bunch of the arguments because he was in love and he wanted to eventually brittle me under his thumb by conquering me in these arguments. But because he knew that I was too smart and I was never gonna just take a piece of paper in my stride if he fabricated evidence of HIV, if he knew I was gonna dot my I's and cross my T's, he knew there was no way that he was ever gonna escape lying to me about HIV. So knowing that he can't be with me anymore, and I told him it was a deal breaker, he then, instead of telling me that he's HIV positive, and so therefore us, I don't know, agreeing to be friends or whatever, he decided that he's gonna make war, that he's gonna wage war against me. This guy went and grabbed a completely innocent woman from Africa and made out of her a flagrant enemy. Mwana, the woman of which is a daughter of God. So essentially he's made himself an enemy of the cross. Yeah, let's move on to the next part.